Welcome back to Dream Harbor, traveler. The harbor lights are glowing softly tonight, and the tide is moving with its usual gentle patience between waking and dreaming. I have another story for you. Tonight, I would like to tell you a story called The Conservatory Where Autumn Stayed. At the edge of a quiet village stood a glass conservatory filled with amber leaves. Not leaves that had fallen, leaves that had chosen to remain. They drifted slowly beneath the high curved windows, turning lazily in warm shafts of afternoon light. Gold leaves, copper leaves, leaves the color of cinnamon tea and polished chestnut wood. And every morning, before the village bells rang, a gardener named Elian unlocked the conservatory doors and stepped inside to greet them. The conservatory had stood there for longer than anyone could remember. Some said it had first been built for flowers. Others believed it had once housed citrus trees from distant hills. But everyone agreed on one thing. Autumn never quite left. Outside, seasons moved as they always did. Spring arrived with blossoms. Summer brought bees and long afternoons. Winter settled quietly upon rooftops. Yet within the curved glass walls of the conservatory, autumn lingered gently through every month of the year. Not the cold parts of autumn, not the stormy parts, only the comforting parts, the warm colors, the scent of drying leaves, the feeling of a favorite blanket waiting nearby. Elian loved that feeling. Every morning he crossed the stone path leading to the conservatory while the village still stretched awake. The bakery ovens were only beginning to warm. A few chimney wisps drifted into the pale sky. The fountain in the market square splashed softly to itself. And beyond the rooftops, hills rested beneath a veil of silver mist. The conservatory waited quietly among all of it. Its windows reflected dawn. Its brass handles felt cool beneath his fingers. And inside, autumn welcomed him once again. The first thing he always did was walk the circular path that wound through the building. It curved among trees with leaves of copper and gold, past benches carved from pale oak, past clusters of lantern-shaped flowers that bloomed regardless of season, past small ponds where floating leaves drifted slowly across still water. Nothing needed to be checked urgently. Nothing was ever wrong. The walk itself was the purpose, a way of saying good morning, a way of noticing, a way of beginning. As Elian moved through the conservatory, sunlight gradually filled the glass halls. Each beam illuminated different corners. A fern unfurling near a stone wall. A collection of moss growing between old bricks. The smooth surface of a wooden bench polished by years of visitors. He noticed these things every day. And every day they seemed slightly different. Not because they had changed greatly, but because attention itself is a kind of discovery. When the morning circuit was complete, Elian would open the eastern windows. Only a little, just enough for fresh air to wander through. The breeze carried scents from the village. Fresh bread, rain-washed stone, tea leaves steeping in nearby kitchens. Sometimes distant wood smoke. Sometimes apple pies cooling on windowsills. The conservatory welcomed every scent, and in return it offered its own fragrance. Dry leaves, warm earth, polished cedar, quiet sunlight. Visitors often said the building smelled like memory. Elian thought that was a beautiful description. By mid-morning, people began arriving. Not crowds. The conservatory never attracted crowds. It invited slower company. An elderly woman who enjoyed reading near the ponds. A musician carrying a small stringed instrument. A teacher who graded papers beneath the amber trees. Children who liked watching leaves spiral through sunbeams. Everyone moved more slowly once they stepped inside. Even conversations seemed to soften. Words became gentler. Laughter became quieter. Footsteps became lighter. The conservatory encouraged such things naturally. One afternoon, many years before, someone had placed a small wooden sign beside the entrance. It read, "Please take your time." No one knew who wrote it. No one ever removed it. And somehow it described the entire building perfectly. Please take your time. That was the true purpose of the conservatory. Not flowers, not trees, not architecture. Time itself seemed to move differently there. Not slower exactly, simply kinder. The village itself had many traditions. There were spring planting days, summer music evenings, winter lantern walks. But one tradition belonged entirely to the conservatory. It was called the turning of the leaves. Every autumn, villagers gathered beneath the glass roof to celebrate the arrival of the season outside. The curious thing, of course, was that autumn already lived within the conservatory year-round. Yet everyone celebrated anyway. Because traditions are not always about necessity. Sometimes they are simply about appreciation. The celebration was wonderfully simple. Tables appeared among the trees. Tea was poured. Musicians played gentle melodies. People shared stories about favorite autumn memories. The first scarf of the season. The smell of rain. The sound of leaves beneath boots. Steam rising from evening kitchens. The comfort of returning home before sunset. There were no speeches, no competitions, no grand events, only gratitude. And gratitude, Elian believed, was often the quietest form of joy. Years passed this way. Leaves drifted. Visitors came and went. The conservatory remained. And Elian continued caring for it. He polished brass railings, watered plants, swept pathways, repaired benches, opened windows, closed windows. Simple work, steady work, work that left room for thinking, or not thinking at all. Some mornings he would simply sit beside one of the ponds and listen. Not for anything specific, just listen. The soft movement of water, the rustle of leaves overhead, a distant bell from the village, birdsong filtering through open windows. The conservatory always seemed to have something to say, not through words, through presence, through atmosphere, through stillness. One winter morning, snow covered the village. Every rooftop wore a blanket of white. The market square looked painted rather than built. Tree branches sparkled with frost. Yet inside the conservatory, amber leaves continued drifting peacefully through warm sunlight. Visitors arrived carrying scarves and gloves. Many paused just inside the entrance. They would close their eyes for a moment, take a slow breath, smile, then continue inward. It happened so often that Elian began noticing it as a kind of ritual. The conservatory offered a small transition, a bridge between cold streets and warm quiet, a place where shoulders relaxed, where thoughts loosened, where the world became slightly softer. Spring brought its own changes. Outside, blossoms returned, gardens awakened, bees wandered among flowers. Inside, autumn remained faithful to itself. Yet somehow the contrast felt beautiful rather than strange. Through the glass walls, visitors could see spring unfolding. Within the conservatory, copper leaves floated lazily through shafts of sunlight. Two seasons existed side by side, neither competing, neither replacing the other, simply sharing space. Elian often thought people could learn from that. Different seasons, different moods, different memories, all existing together peacefully. The years continued their gentle procession. The conservatory aged gracefully. Glass panes gained tiny imperfections. Wood darkened beautifully. Stone pathways became smoother beneath countless footsteps. Nothing remained exactly the same. Yet nothing truly disappeared either. Change arrived softly there, like leaves settling upon still water. One evening, after closing the conservatory, Elian remained inside a little longer than usual. The sky beyond the glass roof glowed with lavender twilight. Lanterns flickered among the pathways. The final visitors had gone home. Only silence remained. Comfortable silence. The kind that never feels empty. He walked slowly through the halls, past the ponds, past the benches, past the trees. Leaves drifted lazily overhead. Some turned gently in circles. Others floated downward so slowly they seemed suspended in thought. And Elian realized something. He had spent years caring for the conservatory, but the conservatory had also cared for him. Its rhythms had shaped his days. Its calm had softened difficult moments. Its beauty had taught him attention. Its stillness had taught him patience. Perhaps places could be companions after all, not through words, not through actions, simply through presence. That realization stayed with him, and from that day forward, he greeted the conservatory a little differently each morning. Not as a responsibility, not as a workplace, as a friend. The seasons continued. Autumn festivals came and went. Snow fell. Flowers bloomed. Summer sunlight stretched across village rooftops. The conservatory remained, always welcoming, always patient, always ready for anyone who wished to sit quietly among amber leaves. As years passed, more people began bringing small traditions of their own. A musician practiced a favorite melody beneath the tallest tree. A baker enjoyed afternoon tea beside the western pond every Thursday. A grandmother read stories to her grandchildren near the curved windows. A painter filled sketchbooks with warm colors. These rituals became part of the building, not officially, not formally, simply through repetition, through affection, through belonging. And perhaps that is how beloved places grow, not through architecture alone, but through the lives gently woven into them. Eventually, the conservatory became known throughout nearby valleys. Visitors occasionally arrived from distant villages. They always expected something extraordinary, a magical phenomenon, a secret hidden beneath glass. Instead, they discovered something quieter, a place where nothing hurried, a place where attention felt easy, a place where autumn stayed. Many found that more remarkable than any mystery, because calm can feel rare, and simple beauty can feel surprisingly precious. As the years softened onward, Elian noticed that visitors rarely spoke about the leaves themselves. Instead, they spoke about how they felt while watching them. Peaceful, comfortable, present, at rest. The leaves were only part of the story. The feeling was the true gift. And so the conservatory continued offering that gift. Day after day, season after season, year after year. Now, traveler, the evening is growing quieter. The conservatory windows glow softly beneath the fading light. The ponds are still. The benches are empty. Amber leaves continue their slow drifting dance beneath the glass roof. Nothing needs to be done. Nothing needs to be solved. The pathways are peaceful. The air is warm. The leaves turn lazily through golden light. And somewhere nearby, Elian finishes his final walk of the day. The windows are closed. The lanterns are lit. Everything is ready for rest. The conservatory settles into silence. The leaves continue drifting. Slowly, softly, without effort, without hurry. And as they drift, the village beyond the glass grows quiet as well. Lights appear in windows. Teacups are set aside. Books are closed. Doors are gently latched. Evening settles across rooftops. Night follows peacefully behind. And now, little by little, the conservatory begins to fade like a pleasant memory. The amber leaves grow softer. The pathways become distant. The glass roof reflects stars. The village quiets. The hills rest. And somewhere beyond it all, the familiar harbor lights of Dream Harbor glow patiently in the darkness. The tide moves gently, as it always does. Travelers arrive. Stories drift across the water. And I remain here beside the harbor, keeping watch over this quiet place between waking and dreaming. The conservatory is resting now. The village is resting too. And perhaps you are beginning to rest as well. The harbor lights will remain. Dream Harbor will remember you. And tomorrow night, another story will be waiting. Until then, traveler, good night.